According to PETA, all captive adult male orcas at SeaWorld have a collapsed fin, and this only happens to 1% of wild orcas. In addition, this means that they were injured. A wild elephant can live up to 56 years, but one in captivity can only live up to 16 years, which is not even close to half of a wild one. WWF states that dolphins are the second most intelligent mammals and are used at aquariums to provide entertainment to humans because they can learn to do things on command. So how would you like to be locked up in a cage and used to entertain people with no free will or rights? Well, these animals are being deprived from the wildlife that they're supposed to live in. If we continue to capture these wild animals, they will die or will adapt to the living conditions that humans prescribe for them. Therefore, leaving the animals miserable because they are not living in the habitats that they should be living in, or leading them to become extinct. Zoos, aquariums, and circuses are all guilty of profiting off the intelligence and beauty of these animals. Moreover, if you don't agree with this problem, you should consider helping promote this initiative and boycott animal captivity. After an extensive research that I carried out on animal captivity, I discovered that most of these animals are mistreated, which I can attest to. Last summer, I interned in the Black Chow White Tiger Foundation, which is a group that helps liberate felines from circuses, zoos, and powerful individuals who own these wild endangered animals. Which is where I witnessed firsthand how these animals were being underfed, hurt, and abused. Circuses, zoos, and aquariums, and in some cases individuals, obtain wild animals and attempt to domesticate them for the purpose to entertain other human beings, which is cruel because they're not meant to be in captivity. Therefore, we should bring up awareness about this situation to people in order to boycott wild animal captivity. Thanks to the documentary released in 2013 called Blackfish, people have begun to go less to zoos, aquariums, and circuses. However, animal captivity is still a problem, and it should be stopped. Because these animals hate being controlled and we are harming these animals for our own entertainment, these animals that are in captivity are being tortured, malnourished, mistreated, abused, and sometimes even killed, all for the reason to entertain a crowd. First, I want to briefly talk to you about how the living conditions of these animals in captivity, and inform you on the training methods used to teach them to perform. Marine animals at aquariums such as SeaWorld are kidnapped from their families, are forced to breed, and have a short lifespan. These animals live in very small tanks with barely any space for them to swim in, and usually the tanks are so small that they're isolated from their other animals. SeaWorld's methods to train these animals is cruel and abusive. In addition, they are not only fed while training or performing in order to get them to perform and learn new things. This way they have an incentive to want to perform. Second, I want to provide you with examples of very well-known animals that suffered their whole lives because of their living conditions. Everyone knows a flipper, the happy dolphin that wasn't so happy. Flipper was never happy in captivity. He was just putting off a show for the crowd because he was forced to. In fact, he was so unhappy that he took his own life by drowning himself because he couldn't keep living in those conditions. This shows not only that he was unhappy, but that the animals have feelings just like human. A lot has seen the documentary Blackfish, which has finally changed the way people perceive animal captivity. Tilikum was a killer whale that killed a few people, including her trainers, because she was living in stressful conditions. She passed away because of the state of depression she constantly lived in. Here's a visual representation of Tilikum. She was as I said earlier, she was a killer whale that was at SeaWorld. As you can see, her dorsal fin is kind of bent because she's unhappy and she's been harmed before. What happens if animal captivity continues? Well, many people feel that keeping an animal in captivity is saving them from the dangerous wildlife, but the truth is quite the opposite. Taking an animal into captivity can lead the animal to adapt to live in the captivating conditions where it doesn't hunt for food, hide from predators, or run around freely. This can later become an even bigger problem because the animal can become extinct in the wild, but existing in captivity. And then there is no way to repopulate the wild ones because they don't know how to teach their offspring how to live in the wild. A near example of the situation are tigers, because there are very few wild tigers, but there are a lot that are in captivity. Black Chow White Tiger Foundation is trying to find a way to teach these tigers how to get back out in the wild. To solve this problem, I have developed a solution that will destroy these companies, organizations, and groups that have animals in captivity. We can boycott zoos, circuses, and aquariums by bringing up awareness to the people that they abuse animals and inform them why these animals don't belong there. This way, people will stop going to these Animal entertainment shows or places leading these companies and groups that profit money off the animals to go bankrupt, which then leads these animals to become liberated into the wild or held by a non-profit organization. We can also take animal captivity down by proposing laws and regulations to the government which they can pass. Just think of these animals and imagine if they were free in the wild, running, swimming, or flying around making families, teaching their offspring how to hunt, how to survive, and how to mate. Away from the pain and depression that humans cause them because we not only take their rightful lives away, but we torture them. Being in the wild is where these animals are meant to be. They shouldn't be tamed by humans for entertainment and monetary purposes. In closing, I strongly believe that we should make a positive difference in the lives of animals by ending animal captivity. If we bring up awareness to the people that these animals are mistreated and deserve to live a life in the wild, we will save many animals' lives. So go out and fight for their rights, because they can't really speak for themselves like they would want to. By ending captivity, we will save millions of animals in the wild. Today, please take this pamphlet that I will inform you on all, which will inform you on all the sad facts of animal captivity and the facts on why they will live better lives in the wild. I really hope, with all seriousness, that you help me promote this issue because it not only would help me, but will help all the animals that need you. I will place these pamphlets by the door so that when you leave, you can easily grab one. Once again, I hope you can help me boycott zoos, aquariums, and circuses, and be the change the world needs.